Good afternoon, my YouTube friends. It's Margaret again, and I do apologise. Yesterday I was videoing away, and then all of a sudden, because I was on my tablet, I'd forgot, and I lifted my finger up and that disconnected the video. And what I was going to share with you, because you know, as orchid growers we share the good as well as the bad, and hopefully we'll learn by the experience of watching others and where they went wrong. And this is my Pathiopedilum dianthum. Now, let's just have a look. I had this from Orchid Species in February 2016, and she's gone. The root's still down there, but the leaves just rotted. And don't ask me what I've done wrong. She was in this little pot here, and the next thing, the leaves have just fallen off. And to be fair to Ed, from M.E.s Orchids, he did say to me, Margaret, you've got to learn more how to care for your Pathiopedilums. That's another one I've got. He says before you get any more, really. You know, I've mastered, well, I think I've mastered, I'm still a novice, the frags. And hopefully, I mean, this one here, that only came as a little tiny seedling from Burnham's Nurseries. This one I brought with me from Madeira, and that was only the tiniest little seedling you could ever imagine. And I've grown these on. And the only other one I'm struggling with at the moment is this Coleogyny species. I think really, on reflection, I wasn't ready for species orchids. Because unlike the hybrids, unless you get the conditions absolutely right, you will struggle with them. And I've struggled with this one here. It's had an umpteen new growths, and it sent this out, but as you can see, it's very weak. I don't know what I've done wrong here, and I'll just have to keep my fingers crossed that I don't completely lose this one. And so I've just brought this one in from the bedroom, because this sits on the windowsill in the bedroom, and this is my Dendrobium thysithorum. And what I've done today is watered and fed her, because we're in the middle of February now, sorry, and she needs to come out of a winter dormancy. At the moment, we've got brilliant sunshine. This morning we've had rain, we've had dark clouds, we've had sleet, we've had everything, and now we're back into the sunshine. That's a little fowl just in there, a no ID. Now I've no trouble with fowls. I do have trouble with the species fowls. They're another kettle of fish, like I've said. And so the 2.5 years, I think it is now, since I've started to have orchids, you know, it has been a journey. That's why I say to my new subscribers, thank you for joining me on my orchid journey, because I'm still learning. It's like these little Coleogyny fimbriatas. Now, that and that one. Now, these were lovely. I've actually had these flower for me. And, you see, I start to think then, oh, maybe, you know, they might fare better on a mount. So I mounted them. And then what you don't realise is, no, they didn't like that mount, so then they go downhill rapid. And I think one of the things also that keeping orchids has taught me is to leave well alone. If they're doing fine where they are, don't mess with them. So let me lift this little, I'm going to lift both these up onto this shelf here so we can see them. Because these two I'm struggling with as well. Well, not so much one of them. See that one there? Can you see the new little growth? Now this came off a huge big Dendrobium. It was that big it stood on the floor, and it is named. It is Dendrobium Violet Fizz Luna. Again, this came from Orchid Species, and I hadn't realised all I didn't know about mealybugs. and then it was absolutely covered in these mealybugs, and it just took the plant down. And I managed to save a cane or two, and from those 1 or 2 canes I've got these kikis, and I'm chuffed to bits now because they're starting to respond. This is the other one that I'm really struggling with, and no, I'm not surprised I'm struggling, because this poor thing's been in and out of different mediums, and that's my Dendrobium loddigesi. But it's that tiny, and this is in lava rock now. And I do believe, hopefully, keep my fingers crossed, it will grow this year, but I don't know. And like I say, I do. It upsets me when the orchids die, because they only die because whatever I'm doing, I'm not doing it right. And I'm one of those persons who I need to understand. So let's just I'm going to just take you over onto this shelf first now, only because I'm stood upright and I don't want to be getting up and down. And if you remember, this is the Restropoides. Let's have a look. Oh, Pleurothallus Restropoides, and this was this came from courtesy of M.E.s Orchids. And this morning I've watered and fed this one. This has been fed with the fish blood and bone. Can you see that little? Now I don't know there whether that's going to develop into a flower or not, a flower inflorescence, because apparently they come out and then they cascade over. This one, no, I don't know let's just have a look. The roots on this one are really an active growth, and she's doing exceptionally well. Now she doesn't stay in here at the moment, she goes in the back room, and the reason being is because it's too warm in here. I'll show you the temperature in a minute, and especially with the sunlight. I keep her in the back bedroom, and that faces north, and this is the other one. There we go, and there she's got one there. She's got several of these, so now whether or not, you know, it'll develop into flowers, I'd be really chuffed if it does. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just take these down here, and as I go down, I'll be able to talk to you again. Right, this one is the, I always forget this one. This is my Phalaenopsis tetraspis. It's got a new growth there, new leaf. There we go. This has been fed this morning, and that inflorescence is extending. So I'm really hopeful about that one. This other one there, and I'm going to go down on my knee, so just bear with me a minute while I go down into this shelf and lift this one here. You remember this one? There's 2 little orchids on this one, and this is the Laelia lobata, and she's putting out a new, don't know whether you can see that new little nub in there, that new growth. That one's not showing any signs yet of putting a new growth out. And this is, oh, wrong way up. There we are. Malworth Orchid Glade. That's an awarded one. So it just sits here, and you see, and I just anchor her down with this little butterfly clip, so she faces that way. And the 2 Phalaenopsis at the back there, they've been watered and fed this morning. That's wild peach. They're hybrid ones, and that's been watered and fed. And this one here, this is the little Cattleya Seagull's gem, and Now whether I can get down in there and show you without going too blurred. That's either got a new little root developing there, or it's a growth. That's the other one that lost its leaves, but it's hanging on in there, and it quite likes, I think, this little terrarium that I just made with a saucepan lid. So this one here is the Cattleya, well, the Laelia Cattleya, and that's the one that's got the roots developing. That's been watered this morning, and that's the other cutting of that one. And if I go round here now, they're the big falls. This is the Epidendrum radicans. That's still growing. There we go. And that's the Coleogyny with the air plant on the top. That's the Epicattleya. Everything's really coming on a treat now. That's the tray of African violet leaves, and as you can see, there's 3 there that I've lost. I've actually just given them that one at the back, just a little bit wilted there, but I've just watered them, and they've not been fed, but I've watered them with rainwater. So I'll just bring this over and show you this while I'm just down at here. And this is my adenium, or adenium, the desert rose, and it lost all its leaves, and but now it's starting to show a new growth. So that's just here in the orchid room. Oh, sorry about that, sorry about the noise. Let's just go back up now, and then we're back up here. Let's just take you to the temperature. It's 20 degrees centigrade, and it's 50% of humidity. We're struggling at the minute with the humidity, but last night it did get up to 70. Let's take you and show you the, let's just bring it forward. These, this is Bulbophyllum lobii, and these usually sit in a tray of water, but they're really hydrated at the moment, and I don't want them actually getting wet through. So I've moved them out of the tray of water, and they just sat here on the shelf. And if I can gently move that one away, if it'll let me, I'll bring you across to this one. And then, sorry, this is the other one. I did cut it in half. It does have a wandering habit, this one does. But that one, it's just sat on a piece of crock, and its roots absolutely love that. So they're both doing fine. Like I say, all of a sudden, because of the lengthening days and the sunshine, everything's responding. Even the, here we go, the milliform, the Dendrobium milliform, that's actually showing, can you see them? New growths now. At first I thought, oh, I wonder whether they'd be flowers, but no, they're new growths. And she's been watered today, but not overly watered, just enough to encourage her to send out some new growths. And she just stands there as well. This one here, if I bring her over, now this one's back into sphagnum moss, and I've got a new growth there. I lost all the leaves. And this is what I mean about some orchids I've not been able to master. And this is a xylobin. That looks as though, let me have a look. I don't know whether that's the moss or whether that's roots. That's exciting, isn't it? Anyway, I thought I'd killed that one, but I haven't. And that just sits there. And this is the other little piece of it, the back bulbs. And I've just put that one in there. And I don't really water them until they get totally dry. So let's take you up on this top shelf here, and this is the big Coleogyne Burfordiense, and that's an active growth. That's the Oncidium, and her roots are fine. Let's just lift her up. But when she's going to start and give me a new growth, I've no idea. And of course this big one here, that's the one I talked about yesterday. Let's go down here very slowly. You'll see the back shelving here. It isn't as crowded as the ones at the front, but I do have to rotate them round. Let's pick this one up here, and this is the Hieroglyphica. This is another one of those orchids that it took me a while to find out what it liked, but it's been in this little pot all winter. It's got active roots, and it's just planted in this little open basket, and it just sits. It just sits there. That's the Sidera japonica, which has sent a new leaf out. Now that's the other Phalaenopsis, which has got nice roots, but I've lost 2 leaves. So all in all, I've got some things in rescue, I've got some things that are doing fine, and I've got some things that are going to bud for me and bloom. If I take you back up onto this top shelf, you'll see now the sun's come out. I don't know whether you're going to be blinded now, I do apologise. And those that require highlight, they're on the windowsill. And as you see, we're still steamed up, although we've got the window open. And I'll just take you up onto this top shelf. Ed said don't have your frags too warm, so I do check the leaves, and if they get too warm, the window gets opened and the fan goes on. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. And to my new subscribers, thank you for joining me. And like I say, it's an orchid journey, and we'll share the good as well as the bad. So from me to you, have a good Sunday, and we'll speak again soon. Bye bye now.